Good morning to the Mindwarp audience. Thank you for listening in again. It's starting to get winter in South Africa. We are still locked down with COVID, but the Mindwarp's doors are open. Today we have a guest that has spent the last year-ish on a Canadian client, but the project is continuing remotely. How fantastic and how privileged are we? Today I'm introducing you to Gary Rolfe. He is a mining executive with Mindwarp. Gary, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, John. Thank you.
Gary, tell us a little bit about yourself. You are a native to this industry. You've seen a few things. Which companies have you been in? What have you done, etc.?
That's right, John. So I started my mining career back in 1988 as a learner. Was fortunate enough to be selected to get a bursary from Anglo American. So got my mining engineering degree at the end of 93. Yeah, and I've spent most of my career with Anglo American working in the West Wits Basin and down in the Free State. And then also spent a couple of years in Anglo American corporate as the principal mining engineer. Also did a few years as a consultant and also worked for IBM as an associate partner and the lead for the mining thrust into the industry globally. And glad to have joined Mindwarp about a year and nearly a half now.
Yeah, great. And you've made a great impact, and I want to talk about that today. So Mindwarp drives solutions to fix four things. What are those four things before we get to your topic?
All right, so the main thrust of Mindwarp is obviously to drive value for our customers. But by doing that, we concentrate on reducing things like latency in decision making, bringing together technology and finance in the mine planning realm on the planning and the execution side of things. Of course, scheduling and optimization, looking at best NPVs, best cuts, multiple mine designs in a very short amount of time. And of course, short interval control, because what's the use of having an excellent plan if you have poor execution of that plan?
And you are personally involved in the Canadian client with the schedule and optimization part, and you'll tell us a little bit more about that. But today I want to talk to you about value. So Mindwarp only started driving the topic of value about 5 years ago. And part of your employment was to ramp up and speed up this process of driving Mindwarp not to implement technology, and clients, by the way, as well, to not just come and replace some piece of technology with something else, but to drive value. So why is Mindwarp in this value business, Gary?
That's right. So up until Mindwarp changed the way they were doing it, all the companies out there, the consulting companies, the software vendors out there, whenever they were approached by a client to solve a problem such as improving the NPV or the ROI of an ore body, that client or that vendor or consulting company would offer a solution which was their forte or their strength. And it didn't unlock all the value that's out there. And as the mining industry grew and used more technology, more and more of these bespoke solutions came along, each addressing a small part of the total mining value chain. Now, to unlock sustainable shareholder value, you need to understand what is happening in your business right across the mining value chain so that you can see the impact of a decision made in the beginning of the mining value chain on the end of the mining value chain. And that has always been missing. And that's where Mindwarp came in and built the platform, which is revolutionizing the way that the mining industry is looking at its business, optimizing its business, and utilizing the data which is generated from all these bespoke systems that they've implemented.
So there are three things that you have identified and that you are driving in. And for the audience, Gary is in a team in Mindwarp in services, which defines a lot of approaches with which we can improve mining clients' value. Gary, you focus on three things when you drive value into clients. Tell us more about those three things.
That's right. So when you talk about value, you have to consider all the aspects that add value to a business. And those three things are a strategy, which is what your shareholders buy into, reducing risk, both business risk and financial risk, and then, of course, adding the tangible value. And the Mindwarp platform with its built-in tool set is designed specifically to enable and support all three of these aspects of business value. So if we look at supporting the business strategy, we know that companies are looking to digital transformation. to change the way they do business. The mining landscape has changed tremendously since the global downturn. And now that the mining industry is rebounding again, the landscape has changed. And so the way the mines do business have to change. So a lot of mining companies are looking at digital transformation to bring or to build more and to ensure sustainable shareholder value. And to do this correctly, to be able to support that digital strategy, you need a platform that integrates all of your current and your future expert systems across your entire mining value chain, which will enable that digital twin and give the insight from the masses of data which are going to be generated to transform the way that they do business and see their own business.
Those first four things that we've mentioned, for instance, killing latency in decision making, has got a lot to do with data islands, and that data can't talk to one another. And that's where the platform comes in. But the purpose of this discussion is not so much about how that happens, but about the value. So you told us now that the platform of MineRP enables that business strategy. Tell us about the reducing risk and the other ones.
That's right. So one of the things that a shareholder would look at when deciding where to invest their money is the consistency of that business in achieving what they promised to their shareholders. And in the context of the mining industry, that's achieving that business plan. Because knowing that they're going to consistently achieve means that they can get the kind of returns that they're looking at. The platform introduces the ability into the mining business to be able to plan in absolute detail the tasks per named resource, per shift, thus enabling that short interval control on the execution of the plan, and also give an understanding of the impact to the business as a whole when that immediate and short-term replanning has to happen, because as we know, mining industry execution is a little bit unpredictable. Also understanding the impact and being able to proactively manage the consequences to mitigate the risk that these non-conformancies bring in when things in the microenvironment change. And all this reduces the business risk of not being able to deliver what they promised to their shareholders. It also has a huge impact on cost, which then again directly impacts your business risk, because there's a well-known industry saying that an unplanned task is 50% more likely to result in a safety incident. So being able to proactively take what would traditionally be an unplanned task and convert it into a planned task not only impact productivity, it also has a positive impact on your unit cost, and also then a positive impact on your safety.
I see. So President Mandela, our first democratically elected president in South Africa, many years ago had this fantastic quote. He said, "A vision without action is just a dream. And an action without vision just passes the time. And a vision with action can change the world." So talking about, the business strategy, planning it properly, then you're talking about the risk, planning it out in detail, hook up the two, kill the latency. And for me, that made me think of that fantastic quote.
It's absolutely correct. We plan to detail, we spend a lot of money and expensive resources on planning, and we have to control the execution of that plan.
Gary, your third leg was around tangible value. Tell us more about that.
That's right. So when you look at a mining business, there are 5 main levers which can be drawn upon to add value to that business. The first is increasing productivity. The second is reducing your unit costs. The third is optimizing the ore body. The fourth is maximizing NPV. And the fifth one is then ensuring consistent feed into your beneficiation plant. All these levers are supported and enabled further by the MineRP platform because it gives you that holistic view of your business and understanding the impact of pulling on one lever, what is the positive or negative impact on the rest of the mining value chain as a whole. And this will add value into any kind of business.
So, Gary, I think in a future podcast, we need to dive into those 5 again, because we've got a nice story to tell about, for instance, the constant feed to the beneficiation plant, etc.
Yep.
So we can dive into that. So what does this mean for MineRP and its partners? This renewed focus the last 2 years on driving value versus some technology replacement or some digitization project.
That's right. So the problem with having all these bespoke systems is the way that they have to interface with each other, and each system interfacing with the other system. And that just adds a huge amount of costs to the maintenance of your expert systems. And it is almost impossible to manage all those interfaces, because if one system or application changes, you need to go and rewrite all those interfaces.
Yeah.
So MineRP is the only company that is offering a true platform that is purpose-built for the mining industry. And this puts us into a position where it makes sense for us to become the partner to our clients and simply not a vendor. And why I say that is because our clients come to us with a particular business question or a business need. Our platform supplies the answer to that one, but then it opens up the next question or allows the next question to be asked. And having the platform in place, you can now bring in all of those business needs and address them in a sequence which makes sense to you and gives you the kind of returns as quickly as you need.
And sometimes, Gary, we get called by a client with a specific problem to solve, but they have not been able to agree with the executives why a change is required and what can be done in future. So MineRP has also got this offering called Rapid Value Assessment, with which we can, in weeks of a project, assist a client to delve down to the real reason of their value problems and then to build further on that. We can talk about that in future as well. So we're steering towards the end. Shortly again, what do we do to enable value? And then you give us some practical tips for clients about how to steer forward with this.
So the MineRP platform is enabling value by integrating right across the mining value chain.
Right.
This kind of integration brings together all the disparate systems that are the data sources and or data consumers to create a single view of what is happening in the mine and also what the future looks like. This ability, together with your big data analytics, and to be able to more dynamically change the short-term and the medium-term plan to suit those micro and macro factors that influence the mining business, is adding immense value to our mining clients.
Yeah, in a nutshell, and then give us some practical tips.
I think there's three things that mining clients really need to consider. The first is you have to have a guiding strategy, whether that strategy is as ambitious as digital transformation or as specific as the need for a single master business schedule. Without this kind of strategy, it's very easy to divert off course and end up with a solution that actually doesn't meet your business needs and thus not deliver the value. The second tip is you need to understand what your business value levers are right across the mining value chain so that you can focus on using the data in the right areas to drive the right kind of changes or transformation to unlock the value that sits there. And I think the third thing is you need to know what your current pain point or pain points are, because this will guide your initiatives in the right direction together with your understanding of the value levers to achieve those quick returns on your investment in the platform and ultimately deliver sustainable value.
Nice, so short and sweet. Let's end off. Gary, the Mine War podcast is about discussions with guests like yourself to get mining clients an understanding of how they can put their minds into warp drive. And we ask all our guests for what they are reading. What are you currently reading, Gary?
Well, I'm actually currently reading two books. I'm reading a novel by one of my favorite South African authors, Dion Meyer, and the novel's called 13 Hours. I really like the way he writes and tells a story. It's real South African, if you know what I mean. And then the other book I'm reading is Shaping the Future of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. It's a collaboration between the author Klaus Schwab and 200 other world-renowned economists. And it just discusses what the future will bring with this fourth industrial revolution, which is really just in its infancy at the moment.
Wow, that sounds like a nice book. I think we need to put that in the show notes as well. Gary, thank you very much. We look forward to talk to you again. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the audience. Bye-bye.